Hello. Hi. It's the first live. Can you believe it? The first one. Let's see here. There we go. We're going to work on this big one over here. Before we get started, normally I show you how to separate threads. I'm pretty sure I did that in the prep video, but I can show you again really quickly. And I'm going to show you how to thread your needle, and I'm going to show you how to make a knot at the end of your thread. This is something I do at the beginning of every single stitch along, and it's mostly because a lot of people think, obviously, we know how to do that. But then other people are like, I do not know how to do that. So it's nice to just show a couple different ways that you can do it. So the first thing that we're going to do is separate our threads. I'm going to use this light green color, very similar to the colored in version of the pattern that's in your pattern. It's color 1042. I actually have the thing from Anchor. So I actually really like this color. Actually. Say it again. Actually. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our length of thread. A lot of times people ask how long. I'm just going to make it bigger like this for a minute. How long should the thread be? So if you're just starting out, I would say probably go like this to your elbow and then back again. Okay, that's a pretty good length, all right? It also depends on how you're going to thread your needle. So some people will thread their needle and then put it all the way at the very end at the loop here, okay? And then put a knot at the end down here. So instead of six strands of thread, I now have 12. So I would be stitching with 12 strands right now because my needle would be at the end. Some people like to make a little tail. So they thread their needle and they put a little tail like this. Okay. So your needle's up here and then they put the knot at the very end. That's how I like to work. So if I say 4 strands, it's just 4 strands, not 4 strands doubled. Because sometimes that can be confusing too. I know on other people's patterns. Especially in the embroidery groups that I'm in. They'll be like, it says 6 strands. Does that mean 6 strands like a loop? So it's 12 strands? Or do they mean 3 strands and then a loop and then it's 6? I don't know. So yeah, that's the total way. So let's cut a little piece of thread here. Okay, like I said, we need 4. So I'm going to zoom it back in. And there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do the one way where you take 1 strand out at a time. So you take your 1 strand and you hold all the rest like this. And you just pull your 1 strand out. Okay. So some people like to do that for all 4 strands, meaning that they don't leave any strands twisted together. So they take 4 strands out and then they lay them all up together and then they put them all back together again. The other way that I like to do it is called the Y method. That's not like a real thing. I just made it up. And that's because it looks like a Y. So you take however many strands that you want and you do it this kind of way. So obviously I pulled out 1 already. So I only need to separate 1 from it because I want 4 strands. Okay, and then I can keep these 2 strands, smooth them out, put them together, and then I can use them when I run out of thread for the next bit. So there you go, splitting threads. I'm pretty sure I already showed that in the prep video at the very end, but I figured I'd do it again. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, now we're gonna thread our needle. There's different ways that people do it. Some people like to lick their, this is an 8-inch hoop, and it says it in the pattern as well. So all the information is there as far as like what kind of fabric and what size hoop and everything. For this pattern, I only have the one size. I know sometimes in previous patterns, I've done like a 7-inch and a 6-inch pattern, like the same one, but kind of scaled down a bit. But for this one, I only did the one because there's quite a bit of details and a lot of overlapping. So yeah, I didn't want it to get too like crowded. Okay, so my favorite way is you put your thread in between your fingers like this. Okay? And then you put the eye of your needle right over, see the eye right there? Where your threads are coming out. And you're going to push that through like that. Pull it out a little bit. So there's your tail. I know you can't really see with this light color. And then at the very end, we're going to make a knot, okay? Well, there's lots of different ways to make knots as well. The easiest way is the quilter's knot. That's where you put your thread on the top like this, and you hold it with your thumb. Should look like that. And then you're going to do some wraps. So the more wraps you do, the fatter your knot's going to get. And you don't want it to be too tight because you're going to pull your needle through in just a minute. So you're going to do 1, 2, let's just do 3, and hold them like this. You're holding the thread, and we're going to pull the needle through the thread. Okay, so in the end, you get a little knot. See? Now, another way of doing it is to just take your thread, make a loop, and then put the tail inside the loop like this. And then pull it down where you need it to go. Now, the only bad part about this way is that that's one wrap, if you know what I mean. So if you wanted to do it like a bigger knot, you'd have to put another knot on top of this knot, which is not hard, but sometimes it can get a bit fiddly, you know? Hello! Especially if you want to do it really quickly. Now, other people do like a waist knot where they do this on the one side, but then they start really far away from there where they want to start their embroidery. So we're going to start on this big one over here, and they want to start far away, and then they'll come over here and do their stitching and then cut it out later. Some people do a couple little stitches in a little area and then stitch over it so they don't have any knots. And some people, they just leave a big old chunk hanging down and then they knot all of them later. Or they let the threads knot themselves, if you know what I mean, on the back. So I say it a lot, but it just depends on what you like, because what works for me might not work for you, and the way that you do it might not work for me. So it's one of those things where if you feel like I'm listening to you, Tori, and I'm trying the way, and that is not the way for me, that is okay. It's all right. I promise you, it's okay. So, okay, should we get started then? We're going to do a satin stitch, but we're going to do a kind of angled satin stitch, but in like a really easy way. So these, if you notice, all of these little leaves here, they're quite pointy at the tip, and then where they join here is also very pointy. So here, 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 also very pointy. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do, oh, I've run out of room. I've run out of room on my, this is from the last stitch along. You can kind of do I'll do it on the iPad because that's quite easy. Isn't it? Let's just add it there. Okay, so when you've got one of these like this, you can either do a satin stitch where you have straight lines like this. We will do this on a different leaf. So, but you might not like the way that I do it, so I'm going to show you both. And you do the next one right next to it, and you make sure that these lines are parallel, and you're going to fill in your whole leaf like that. Okay? The other way to do it is that we're going to put one down the middle like this. Down the middle, Tori. And then all of the ones on the outside, There you go. We're going to go through the same hole. Some of them we're going to go 3/4 of the way down, just like literally right here. I say 3/4, but it's like you're going to go right really close to it. And some of them are going to go down here through the same hole. So you'll end up with something like this on each side. Okay, and then this one's going to go down the same way, like that. Like that. So this one here will give you a more angled look. It'll look like all of the, like the veins of the leaf kind of are angling in, whereas this one is literally just filling in the shape. Okay? So if you feel strongly one way or the other what you would like to do, feel free to do that. But I'm going to show you the second way because I think that's going to look really nice. So let's start right here at the tip and then we'll work our way down. The other thing that I like to do is on the edge of the hoops here, I like to make a little line so I know where to put my stitches and kind of where the hoop ends. Because sometimes on the edges you can get a little, like one will go really far and then one won't go as far. And then on the edges they look a little bit like, huh, who did that? Let's just add one right there. Add a little leaf right there. All right, let's zoom in and start. I think I've talked enough. Should probably do some stitching. Now, I'm probably going to do not the whole leaf because it's going to take a little while. And that's why we have Saturdays and Sundays off, because you can do a bit of this and then let me just move this stuff out of the way because I know I'm going to catch it with my needle. We can do a little bit and then you can catch up at the weekend if you feel like I haven't got enough time to do this big, huge leaf. They do go very fast. There's only going to be about 4 stitches, maybe 5. So yeah, I've got a couple questions before I start. Do you have a schedule for your Instagram tutorials? They're Monday through Friday, either at kind of 11:30 in the morning or 7:30 to kind of 8 at night. More likely it will be in the evening, but there's not a schedule for stitches. It's just Monday to Friday. Show up, we have a little chat, we do our stitching, then we're done. Okay? What pen are you using? All the pen stuff is in the prep video, which is on my Instagram page. It's a Pilot heat erasable friction pen. But again, like that's the easy answer. But like I explain it a lot more in the prep video. So have a little look at that. I almost said have a watch of that. Does that make sense? Okay, so the first one we're going to go right down the middle like this. Okay. Now you could get away with putting all of these down the middle. Like I said, these are not fat leaves. Okay, they're not very wide. So you're not going to have many stitches to fill them up. All right. So you might decide that actually I don't really want to do like the 3/4 ones. I would rather just go all the way down. That's okay too. I tend to do one on each side like this. Okay. We're going to go a little bit lower. And these ones are going to go straight through that same hole that we did at the beginning. Oh, Jessie's already sighing. She's like, I've had enough of this already. Sorry, babe. Okay, let's go to the next one. You don't always have to start at the tip. You can start down here if you want to. There's also a thread saver method. I'll show you it on the next one, not this one, but the next one, just so that you can kind of see how it's done twice, you know? So yeah, that's what we're doing today. For the stem, you can either do it as you go, as you work down, and just put a little straight stitch there, or you can do a back stitch through the whole thing. Technically, they are the same. They look the same. But if you're just going to do one stitch, it's a straight stitch. But if you do a series of stitches like that, it's a backstitch. So people tend to get a bit, well, it's not that, is it? That's not what it's called. Okay, so we want to keep that nice sharp point there. Okay, so let's do this one. Let's do the thread saver one. So you're going to come up on this side like this and down on this side. And then if you noticed with the regular satin stitch, I always came up on this side and I always went down on this side. So I kind of went up, down, up, down, up, down. So that means that on the back, I've got the same amount of thread on the front as I do the back almost, but I'm using quite a bit of thread. Do you see? So with the thread saver method, what you end up doing is instead of coming up down here again, because if you remember, I came up here and went down there, you're going to come back up through the same side that you went down. And again, come up on the same side that you went down. I'll flip it over in just a minute and then you can see how it looks. Where did I just go? Okay. Let's put this one like here. I think this needs one more. Okay, so let's flip it over and you can see how it looks on the back. So instead of going all the way down to the bottom and then all the way back up, I kind of go like, just went right next to it and then down and right next to it again and then back up. So you're actually saving a bunch of thread. Yeah. Now, some people don't like the way it lays, especially if you have a lot of stitches that are right next to each other like this. Kind of like maybe like a square or something like that, or like the edge of a flower where maybe it won't lay so flat. But I tend to mix it up and use whatever I'm going to use. You know, like whatever works the best for me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As always, let me know if you have any questions. I did not mean to brush off the people about the pen and the hoop size and stuff. But if you get me started, I'll just keep talking and talking and talking. And then I'll be telling you all the different pens and blah, blah, blah. And I've already done that. Hi, Sarah. Good evening. On Amazon right now, which table stand should I order? I would not get a table stand from Amazon. I would go to Cloudcraft or Hawthorne Handmade, and I would get one from them. The one I saw on Amazon, it's not bad, but it's not as good as these ones. So, yeah, I would go to Cloudcraft. Cloud like a fluffy cloud, and craft like we are crafting. Cloudcraft.com. Or Hawthorne Handmade. They both have Instagrams. I used to have a discount code for one of them, and I can't remember. I haven't used it in a really long time. I haven't like told anyone about it. I always say, I keep thinking I have one, but I don't remember what it is. Or maybe it doesn't work anymore. I don't know. It was ages ago. Because basically I kept telling people to go buy the things from Cloudcraft. I'm sure she's like, no. Probably because I kept telling people to go there and then forgetting the discount code. So she's like, you're not giving us any business. So yeah, this is what we're doing. So if you feel like you've got it, you can skedaddle. so you don't have to listen to me chat. I will say I went to the Harborne Handmade Market yesterday. It was so nice. I'm not gonna lie, I did not make very much money, just being transparent, but it was so nice to see people in person. I feel like it was totally worth it. And I'm gonna do the Christmas one as well. So if you're local, please, please, please come for Christmas. It's gonna be so good. But yeah, it was so nice. But do you know what? There was some people there that were cracking me up. So one of them was a lady, and she said to her friend, "Oh, look, embroideries." And the lady looked to her and said, "Oh, they just look so complicated and complex. Plus, I don't like the colors or the designs anyways." And walked away. And I was just sat there at my little table, just sat behind my little table like, bye. Oh, I just love markets. Not for that reason necessarily, you know, because it's not nice to like hear someone saying something that's not nice about your work. But I was like, I could not help but laugh. Oh my gosh. Oh, I almost wet myself. I was laughing so hard. I was telling one of my friends. And she was like, "Oh my God, that's so rude." And I was like, yeah, but like people, they talk to their friends. They're like 2 feet away from where I was sitting. And I was like, do you think she thought that I couldn't hear? Guys, I promise, like, I'm not her at all. It just made me laugh so hard. And then another lady was with her friend. And she did the same thing. She goes, "Oh, what's at this booth?" And what'd she say? How'd she say it? "Oh, practical stuff. I'm not interested. Let's go." I was like, what's practical about this? Sorry, I find it hilarious. Like, hilarious. I don't know. Maybe I should be more offended. Sarah says, "I'm so anxious at markets. Like, how do I make enough eye contact to be polite, but not so much so I feel like I have to buy out the whole stall?" Yes, definitely. But see, as a maker, you're like sat behind there and you don't want to say like, "Hi, do you want any help?" Or like, you don't want to like try to like make them feel like they have to buy something from you. Do you know what I mean? So I find it difficult in the opposite way. Like, I want to talk to them just because I feel like I'm a pretty chatty person. And then like they're looking at me like, "Please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me." Because then I have to buy something. Because then I'm going to like be nice to you. And then I'm going to have to feel like I have to buy something. So yeah, I find it the other way. The other way. I will say though, there was a little kid there. I say little, but he's probably like maybe 7. And he's like, "Oh, I really like these pens. I got some new pens, guys. The Pilot ones are good, but I found these. I'll show them to you because they're so cute. I found these little animal pens. I'm not kidding. They're too cute, but they're a 0.4. That's why I got them. And they're the heat erasable ones as well. Aren't they so cute? And this little kid walked up and he's like, "Daddy, I really want that pig pen." He was just so funny about it. And the dad was like, "Are these only for embroidery?" I was like, "No, they're like, you can erase them with the end. You know, the ends have like the little erasers." And he just kept going, Daddy, I really want that pig pen." And he's going, yeah, definitely. Like, you can get it. It's fine. And he's like, "Okay." And then the daughter was looking at something, and then he'd just keep going, be like, "Daddy, the pig pen. Can I just get the pig?" And he's like, "Yes, you can get the pig pen." So you get really sweet stuff like that as well. So it's not all, you know, ladies saying that embroidery is too practical, so they don't want to do it. But, oh, it just made me laugh so much. But yeah, I do love markets. They're so fun. I feel like you get to meet everyone and say hi to everyone, and it just feels so, like, wholesome, even if there are people who are, like, you know, not very nice. I spoke to someone from Orange County for a really long time as well. Got her whole life story. So that was sweet. Okay, so now that I finished this part, I don't think I actually showed, oh, Sarah's heading off. We just started the White Lotus and had a tea making break. Ooh, I haven't started that. Let me know if it's good. Because I've heard good things, but I'm always a little bit hesitant to, like, start something, you know? So let me know. Okay, so how you finish the back. Some people, I like to do it this way, okay? To tell all the different options, and then you can decide which one you like to do. Some people like to leave a longer tail and literally leave it. They don't do any knots on the back. They just leave it. I don't really recommend that. Not because it looks messy, just because it gives a more higher risk of it unraveling. You know, your stitches might come loose. Some people like to, again, leave longer tail than I did. And they actually weave their tail, the leftover embroidery thread, through the other stitches that they've made. And some people find that this works really, really well for them. I think it's a bit faffy for me, but again, it's up to you, however you feel. I am a fan of just putting a knot in because that's what I've always done. So you can do it two ways. You can either separate your threads into two pieces like this, and then do a knot like you're going to tie your shoes, but do it double or triple or quadruple, however many you feel. However many you feel is good, okay? The other way is kind of like I showed at the beginning. To make your first knot, you're going to make a loop and then put the tail inside the loop, okay? But the easiest part of this, because people then always say, well, how do you get it all the way touching the fabric? Like, I always end up with a knot in the middle. This is the smallest little piece. Like, I couldn't have done this better for demonstrative purposes. Demonstrative? How do you say it? Okay, so you've got your little knot like this, okay? And if I just pulled it, it would be in the middle, which means that it wouldn't be close to the fabric. All you need to do is take your needle and put it inside the loop right next to where you actually want your knot to go, and then pull. If you have all of the threads in the right place, you can just pull it like that. Which one am I not pulling? Oh, because I've already made a knot with one. How cute. What a good time. There we go. I'll pull the other three, and they'll make a knot there, like that. See? Now we have a knot that's really close to the fabric, like that. And then you can either snip off the ends, or you can leave them. Again, depends on what you like. All right, let's see here. I've got the two threads from before. I've got two more threads from before. Remember, we're using 4, so 2 and 2 makes 4. Let's put them together. And then at the end of this one, I'm gonna skedaddle because you don't need to be here all evening listening to me waffle on. And we can do a little straight stitch between each one as well. I will say, when you're going down to the bottom, you start to get some leaves that are behind other leaves. Now you might be tempted to go around them. These are what I'm talking about. These little ones right here, like this. I would not go around them, because what you're going to end up with is these tiny little stitches like this. And that's going to look awful. So all you need to do is just go straight over. There's enough of these here that you're going to be able to put these ones straight over these ones and they'll be completely fine. Okay. The only ones I would probably avoid might be these ones, just because it's a little bit thicker, but the stitch we're going to do here actually is going to cover them up completely. So if you feel like it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to make these long stitches like this in 2 sections, meaning you'll go from here to here and stop, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then here you'll just do those little probably 3 little ones. If you feel, if you feel like that's going to be a little bit difficult for you, that's okay. Just do the whole thing like we've been doing up here. Okay? All right. Well, let's continue stitching then. And if you've got any other questions, then just let me know. Let's do some little back stitches. So I like to go from thing to thing. So we've got from this one to this one, and then we'll go from this one here back up to this one. This is the back stitch. I like to go down through the same hole. Okay, and again to the next one. Here, same hole. And then here, same hole. And what you end up with is just a little thing connecting them all. You can get really fancy with these by outlining them. I can show you how to do that on Details Day or before we do this one, these two, because you'll need to outline them before. You can put little straight stitches of a different color in if you'd like. That can always jazz it up a little bit. Make it a little bit more interesting than just one plain color. Sometimes it's nice to have just one plain color. It's like a nice little break for your brain, you know? Hello from Canada. Hello. I do love it when people from all over. Do you know what? Mel said she was going to be here. Where's Mel? I only know that because she messaged me to say, what time are you doing it? Because I want to come. She's going to be so mad if she missed it. So excited for another stitch along. Me too. Honestly, this is probably the very worst time ever to be doing this for me because I'm supposed to be moving house soon, but we don't know what day it is. So we're like slowly tiptoeing around, like kind of packing stuff, but kind of not, because like we need the stuff. Like we need, but then, yeah, like we don't know when it's going to happen. So probably should have done a stitch along now, but I don't care because I really missed it. Because I don't think I did one since the February ones. So we were due a stitch along. The February ones were really good though. These will be uploaded onto YouTube. I'm going to try and do it the same night. So if you remember in the February one, I was kind of doing it on Fridays. Well, I said I was going to do it on Fridays. And then when I went to go download the videos, they just didn't download. So I'm going to have to see if there's a program or something that I can like steal the video from my own Instagram. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. But I'll figure it out. And we'll get them all saved and put on YouTube. But I'm thinking this time I'll do them every night. and then they'll be on there. So I'll put the prep video on and this video on tonight. On the YouTube, if you search the Barmy Fox, it should be there. You should find me. I think I have the same picture as I do here. So yeah, there we go. So you can continue on stitching if you are loving it and feel like you want to continue, or you can stop there. Just quickly, I'm going to show you what it would look like if you did a little, just like this. If you did a little pop of color. You can also do it like 2/3 of the way. So kind of start it here and do a little straight stitch in each one, like that. You can also, instead of doing the stem in the same color as the leaves, you could do the stem in the same color as your little like accent stitch. It just depends. It depends on what you want to do. You could do a little outline if you wanted to of each leaf. There's lots of things you could do. I could be here for ages saying all the different things you can do. But yeah, we're going to finish this entire thing eventually. So if you are not done today, you can do at the weekend or catch up later. That's pretty much all from me. That's it. So yeah, if you'd like to post your progress, you can take a little picture and tag me at the Barmy Fox and use the hashtag the Barmy Fox SAL. That's Stitchalong SAL. If you put them on your grid, they will all come up together. Okay. If you put them on your stories, then I can just share them for the next 24 hours. Or you can save them to a highlight or something like that. But yeah, if you've got a couple minutes at the end of the day or at the end of the week, head to the hashtag and leave some love for other people. Let me tell you, it really, really helps. And a lot of people do these stitch-alongs because they've got something going on in their lives that maybe they can't, or they don't want to go out with other people, or maybe they're having a hard time in their personal life and they just want a bit of time to, decompress and de-stress. A lot of people, it is a really good, relaxing outlet for them. And it really helps. It does help with your mental health. I'm not going to say that it's a cure-all or anything like that, but being part of the community and leaving little comments and being active and stuff, it really does help. And it doesn't just help you, it helps other people as well. So if you've got a bit of time, I'm telling you, even now, if someone leaves a comment, I'm like, oh my God, they love it. Yay. Like, don't underestimate the power of just a small little comment. It doesn't take very much time, but I'm telling you, it means the world to a lot of people, me included. So if you've got some time, try and do that maybe at the end of the week or something. And be sure to post your progress. Again, a lot of people, they do it for themselves. They don't want to show off their work. They don't want anyone to say, oh, it looks bad, or, oh, I wouldn't have done it like that. Nobody here does that. I'm telling you. This is the most supportive group of people I think I've ever seen. So if you need some love, post your picture and we'll be there for you. Okay? So I'll see you tomorrow, probably at the same time. Naps are a bit, not great at the minute. For Miles, so it'll probably be in the evenings again. And then we'll start the next part. So enjoy, and I'll speak with you then. Bye.